So where are we and what are we doing? We are building a lead magnet generator which can take videos from YouTube or text, or I'm going to be moving on to this shortly, TikTok videos or Instagram videos, and turn them into lead magnets and generate a landing page for them. We are on day 17. Yep, 17 out of 30 of building in public. We came up with an idea, we built out the basic functionality, now we're extending it a little bit before launching it and hopefully getting some sales by the end of the process, 30 days. And the idea with this whole series is I'm going to every 30 days launch something new, and it will either be something that's internal for me and my business, or I think more interestingly, something that I can launch for the wider world. So that's the game. If you are on TikTok, you are still through the not very pretty camera. I have just bought this, and here you go for YouTube. It is a iPhone 17 Pro Max, no, not Max, 17 Pro, I don't know, whatever it is. So we should be able to increase the quality once I've got it all set up. Right, where were we? So we have changed the authorization, so the way of being able to create a user name and a user account, excuse me, we have changed it a bit, because previously it required a Google account so that it could use the Google API to get access to the user's YouTube videos. So the official API requires you to actually have a Google account, and then it only gives you access to your own channel. So it works for me because I have a channel. I'm able to produce lead magnets off my channel. However, what we probably want to do is moving it towards a more general use tool, so you can actually point it at any YouTube URL, or ideally any TikTok or any Instagram URL, and pull video information. That's where we're heading in the direction of. The trick is I don't want to wholesale remove everything that I've been building just to put in that new functionality. So we're kind of going step by step. So what we have at the moment is we have the ability to add your Google account, or you can just sign up using an email account and then sign in from there. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to log in using the admin account so we can see what's up, because what I have not done is checked whether it made user management. Yes, it did. So it made those new accounts in the back end that I was testing with yesterday. And so you can see these are beta testers. They've got 10 credits. They were created on this certain date. So that's interesting. It doesn't actually give me their email address. It gives me their email/ID, what it should do, but this is saying user 25EC3EEA, etc. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. So what I'd like to do is in my admin dashboard be able to see who they are. I don't need to see their password or anything, but I might need some. Obviously I don't need their password, but I do want to be able to tell their email address so that we can then get in contact with them, make sure they're actually users, etc., etc. If they contact me with support requests, being able to link them to their actual user would be really useful. So let's go ahead and do that. I think that's going to be the first thing. And then I have a few other things on the list that I need to clear out, but let's start with that. Hey Lovable, so that's looking good. Users are now able to create an account using an email address and setting a password rather than forcing them to use Google. That's solid. However, when I go into my admin dashboard as an admin user, in the user management, their email/ID, I can only see their user ID. So it's user 25EC3EEA, etc., etc. It's a long string. I'd like to be able to see their email address in the dashboard so that I can tell who has signed up and deal with support requests, etc. I'd also like to be able to click through and get more details on their usage, their transaction history, for example, that's tied to a specific user. Right now the transaction history is not tied to a user. So basically just fleshing out my admin dashboard so that I can see more information about those users. Do not give me their password. I don't need to know that. That needs to be secret, obviously. But other information about the user and their usage would be really useful, as well as the ability to change their role, which you seem to have given me. You've also given me an add button. I don't know what that add button does. Oh, I see. Okay, currently you've given me an add button which allows me to set their roles. That is fine. That is not a problem. At the moment though, user and beta tester seem to be separate. So the beta testers are not automatically assigned a user, which seems a bit odd, and that might get in the way of their user functionality. So can you go ahead and do some work on that kind of admin dashboard to make it more practical for me as an admin? Awesome, thank you. Okay, so we're going to start with that for now. And then there's a couple of other things I want to do. So if somebody creates a login using their email address, that's fine. They're able to use the text tool. They are not, however, able to use the Google tool because they need to add a Gmail account. So we need to give them the ability to add that later in order to access that functionality and to make sure that their accounts are connected. So where this might get tricky, and we're going to deal with this today, is let's say I've signed up with Kyle at mybusinessname.com for my main account, and then I want to add a Google account. If that's not the same email, is that going to be an issue? I don't think so, but we need to make sure that that connects okay. But first we'll add a bit of a dashboard. For those of you who haven't seen the stream before, we're basically building an application in a month, a piece of software which I'm going to take to market, hopefully. I'm starting to run out of time because I did what I promised I wouldn't do, which was expand the functionality. I could have launched to beta testers with a more limited functionality, but I realized that without the ability to generate landing pages, the functionality of the tool isn't that useful because it requires so many extra steps. There's too much friction for my customers. So I expanded the scope of the original product, which I know is bad. And normally I'd do it quietly, but because I'm building it in public, sadly, you can see my bad habits. Conan saying, really enjoy your lives, man. Thank you. And apologies, people, for the change in times. Usually this live streams during the morning, around 11 a.m. But I kind of need to restructure my day, and losing 2 hours every morning to live streaming is quite tricky. I am the only one viewer, but I fully respect this way of explaining complex things in an easy and simple way. Kudos to you. Thank you, Barataya. So we do have more people, well, not that many, but we have a few people over on TikTok. So TikTok generally has 30 to 40 people. YouTube is very new for me. I started doing YouTube seriously about 2 months ago, and we are now at 5,390 subscribers. But if you've ever done any social media or content creation, you'll know that YouTube it's a lot of work. So thank you for joining the live over on YouTube. Apparently 14 people have come in. Cool, it has enhanced my dashboard. So let's have a look at that. And see what that's doing. What I'll probably need, and this is more for me, is a way to kind of toggle between user and admin, just for testing, so that I can see what a user would see compared to what I see as an admin. I can do that obviously by having it open in multiple tabs, but then it becomes a bit more complex when I need to stream, because I have to show you what's on my screen, and to do that I have to select which browser tab, and it's just fiddly. So okay, Google account required. YouTube feature requires connecting your Google accounts to access YouTube API. That's fine. Text content you can just generate. So this person is, wait, who we logged in as? Okay, let's get to that in a minute. So for now, it has user details, beta tester, recent transactions. So that's a bit better. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to log out, create a new account. Oh, that's not right. Something's gone wrong. Something's gone wrong. Oh no, or continue with Google. Okay, so don't have an account, sign up. So I'll put in Kyle at test2, let's say, at gmail.com. Password, blah, 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 does not matter. Create account. User already registered. Okay, so it is actually remembering my emails. There we go. So that's now done it. It did not put them through to the dashboard, which is what it's meant to do. Instead, it's taken them to this page, which is a little confusing because if you have signed in without the YouTube, suddenly it's telling you, oh, you need to add a YouTube account. So that's going to be confusing to people. What we kind of want to do is take them to the dashboard. Okay, so a couple of things. Now what I need to do is come back out. This is why I need to make a way to toggle, because otherwise I'm having to go back and forward, back and forward. So I can go into my admin account. So the one that was created was here. So this is still coming in as user, blah, 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 blah. So it hasn't done what I wanted, but it has fleshed out that view details. Okay, let's see why. Let's see if it's given me. It doesn't show, so it will now show email addresses. It's not doing that. Add user detail view with transaction history. That's good. I've enhanced. Okay, so okay, thank you for enhancing the dashboard. Their email addresses are still not visible. They are still showing up, and I just created a new account, and it's still showing up as user BAF05FA2, etc., etc. So that is not the email address, that is an ID. However, I know that you are capturing the email addresses in the back end because I just tried to create a new test account and it was with a test email that I'd already used. So I know that is being saved. We just need it to be visible inside of the admin panel. The second thing is you said that the user role is automatically assigned to the beta tester. The new test account I just created, again, it's user BAF05FA2, etc., etc., does not have the user role assigned to it. I can only see the beta tester, so I don't think you've done it correctly. Hi Mario, how are you? Leetmo says, is this Stack Blitz? No, this is Lovable. And I'm about to be asked why I'm using Lovable, so I'll do my normal spiel. There are many tools for vibe coding out there. It kind of depends what level you want to work at. So I actually wrote a whole guide about this on Saturday and the different levels of vibe coding. So I'm going to bring that up while Lovable is working this out. So lots of people say you should use Claude Code or you should use Codex. And I get that. They're fantastic tools, but this is step one of installing Claude Code, is to open up your terminal and use npm install. So npm install -g at Anthropic, etc., etc. And you need to make sure you have Node.js 18 installed. So for anyone who's never touched code, who's never touched a command line, they haven't opened terminal, this is terrifying, and they're going to be looking at a screen like this, and it's too intimidating for people who have never seen code at all. So I don't think that Claude Code and Codex are the right place to start. Cursor is very good, but again, it's very intimidating. So I highly recommend people start with something like Lovable, Bolt, Base 44, Replete, or V0. There are loads of them out there. I personally like Lovable, but I recommend people try all of them basically. And then once you've wet your feet and kind of got used to how these tools work, then absolutely you can start using something like Cursor, which is like the next step, and then after that something like Claude Code or Codex from OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT. I'm saying this now because I know somebody will be in my comments saying you should build it with this. It's like, yep, I know, I understand. There are better tools, but that's not the purpose of this stream. The purpose of the stream is to show that anybody can access these tools. You can use natural language and you can build something, even if you don't have a technical background. So I'm just preempting that. There'll still be somebody in chat in about 20 minutes who will come in and tell me I'm doing it wrong. Okay, what are you doing? Why are you asking me to make more edits? Insert public and user. You're right, I need to fix both issues. Emails aren't. Okay, so it's doing it as a second database change. That's fine. Stack Blitz. I don't know Stack Blitz. Do I know Stack Blitz? Stack Blitz, instant dev environments, click code done. Oh, wait. Oh, it's Bolt. Stack Blitz are the company who make Bolt, right? Yeah, I know Bolt. Bolt.news, very good. So Bolt is probably my second choice. I like Lovable and Bolt and Replete. They're all good. I haven't used Base 44. I know there's a lot of buzz around them, but I haven't tried it out for a few months now. Here we go. I knew this would happen. I literally just said this. So somebody is in chat saying Codex is MVP. Yes, Codex is very good. I would just Docker compose it. Lovable is a waste of time. You look like David from YouTube. I don't know what that is. I was just literally saying, I'm not going to do it again. I was just explaining why I'm using Lovable rather than Codex, rather than Claude Code, because I have to do this every single time. There is a good reason why I'm doing it with Lovable, and you can go back in the video because I'm not going to waste everyone else's time. Right, let's have a look at this. So funny. Yes, I think it's Bolt, but Stack Blitz behind the scene. Yep, makes sense. Replete is expensive. Going to try Cursor. Cursor's fantastic. If you are happy working in an IDE, if you're happy with that level of complexity, fantastic. It's a really, really good tool. I do most of my work in Cursor, honestly. But again, we're using Lovable for a specific reason, which is to show people, normal people, non-coding people, that they can do this as well. Okay, we're not having any luck with this, bizarrely. Oh wait, do I need to push? No, I did already. Yeah, Replete is quite expensive. It's good. So I'm actually doing a hackathon at Google. This starts on Friday and going through until next week. And we're going to do a mobile app. So we'll probably use Replete because I've found it to be really good at doing apps. So we'll do an iOS app. But different tools for different jobs, and I highly recommend people try them all out and then decide for themselves. But Lovable is a nice easy way in, which is why we're using it. Right, let's sign out and then go back in. So this is why I need to create a toggle so I don't have to mess around with this. But for now, let's do what we're doing. Oops. And then we need to change that as well. Okay, and then okay, that is still not doing what it needs to do. Is it at least sent? That is strange. Well, that is annoying. It's not something that I'm going to let get me hung up on. I'm going to instead put that on the growing to-do list. So it is, yes, I know it's capturing the emails. That's the main thing. Role assignment, did it manage to do that? Yes, okay, it's done that at least, but it is not making the email visible. I'm okay with that, that's fine. Right, so let's deal with the other things. I'm still not seeing the email address appearing in the admin, but it's not that huge a deal. As long as you are saving them in the back end, which I can see you are, that's fine. I'm going to put a pin in that and we'll turn to that later because we have other things that are more important. One thing that would be really useful for my testing process is the ability to switch between my admin account, and there is one admin at the moment, and a beta tester role. Could you create some kind of toggle that will allow me to switch back and forward between them, and then I will remove that later. Make sure that is only visible for admin accounts as well. Thank you. Mario says, what's the end goal? I'm not sure if you mentioned it before. Appreciate it. Yeah, no problem. So the basic idea is to, within 30 days, come up with an idea, build something, and then launch it. So I have an audience. Mario, you're on YouTube, which is my smallest audience. My combined audience is about 250,000 people. So the idea is to build something and then get it out to them and potentially make some sales and then build it into a another part of my business. So I'm going to be doing this every month, building something new, 1 hour per day, which allows me to kind of create a portfolio of small tools, things that I can add onto my business and use my existing distribution to make money. That's nice. It's a nice thing to do, but also to show people that this is something they can do as well, that you can go from an idea, you can work with a tool like Lovable or Bolt or whatever to build, and you can turn your idea into an actual reality, which is new for entrepreneurs. Previously, you'd have to go and find a tech partner, or you'd have to raise money and then hire a development shop. And then even when you hired somebody to do development, you wouldn't necessarily know what to ask. So it could be very expensive. Whereas now with the vibe coding tools, pretty much anyone can put together a basic version of their application. Is that version of their application going to scale to thousands of users and millions of dollars in revenue? No, probably not. Some have. There's Next, I forgot what it's called, but a nursing platform that was created in Lovable, and I think they were at $5 million in 6 months. But most of the time, you would use a vibe coding tool to build the MVP, minimum viability product, or a proof of concept, so that you can then raise money, so that you can get your first customers, you can get beta users, and then you can go from there. So I'm trying to show people at home that you can do this too, and you can build. And I've had a few people who have started to build, which is really exciting. And also, if you are building, I keep forgetting to mention this, if you are building, tell me, and I will bring up your product on stream, and I can we can have a look at it, and we can make sure the audience sees it as well. Okay, so added a roll trigger. Let's have a look and see how that goes. What's going on here? What do you use to get your app to be iOS and Android? So I don't know much about Android development, but with iOS, you use something called Xcode, which is Apple's kind of proprietary. You know how Apple is. Everything is like inside the box. Everything is their tools. So you would start with, we'll probably build in Replete, or we might use Cursor, but we'll tell it at the beginning. We'll say, hey, look, we're building an iOS application, and we need to be able to bring this into Xcode, which is Apple's tool for deployment and testing and deployment, etc. So we will use the same tools for vibe coding, but we will tell it this is our end goal. So we're going to have to build it in Swift, and we're going to bring it into Xcode later. But these are questions you can actually ask the AI. You can say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about building. By the way, I want to build it so that later I'll be able to deploy an iOS app. What do we need to do for that? And it would tell you, okay, we need to build in this language, and we need to get it ready for this process, etc., etc. Okay, so I have something that now allows me to be a beta tester. Yeah, well, that's a bit odd, because I shouldn't be able to see my admin panel, should I? So I come in as a dashboard. 19 credits. I don't think that's actually doing anything, is it? which is my fault. I didn't really specify it very well. It has done what I asked it to, which is add a switcher between admin and beta. Oh, okay, right. It's admin plus beta tester roles. I see the logical problem here, because if I switch myself to beta tester, I kick myself out of the admin, and then I shouldn't be able to see the toggle. So I'm in no better position than if I just had 2 separate accounts. Right, I see the issue. That's a me problem, not a not a lovable problem here. So what do we need to do? It's got a page reload. Nirvana says, oh wow, Kyle, I've been following on TikTok, love the ChatGPT series month back, glad to see you on YouTube. Yes, thank you. YouTube is new, very new, and we're at 4,000 No, 4 or 5,000 subscribers. 5,000. I just checked a few moments ago. 5,392. So making our way to 10,000 extremely slowly. But that's the plan. Also, if you are watching on TikTok, the camera and the screen and everything looks much better on over on YouTube, because you can see the 4K 60 frames per second. You can actually see my screen, so it's going to be a better place. You can also see that my nose is bright red. I think I'm coming down with a cold. It's finally got cold here in the UK. So I'll create a role to toggle component. Okay, so what am I trying to do? I want to be able to okay, that's not that important, is it? Alright, what I'm going to do is chat to it. Okay, Lovable, I've realized that having a toggle that's only visible in admin mode doesn't make any sense, because when I toggle to beta, it would just kick me out of admin, which is why I assume you've made it beta plus admin. However, if it's beta plus admin, then I can't actually experience what the page looks like for a beta tester, because I still have those admin permissions in place. I'm blanking out. What's the best way to test this without me having to log in and out, in and out, in and out multiple times? Thank you. So I put it in chat mode so I can have that discussion. It might just say you should put it in different browsers. And the reason I'm not doing it is because I'm streaming and I need to share one browser. So this is a streaming limitation, which is a bit annoying. Okay, it's going to suggest some. So role simulation mode, instead of actually changing roles in the database, we create a client-side simulation mode. Yeah, the problem is, as I start to change what the user roles mean, like what accesses they have in the background, this simulation will probably have to be upgraded to or updated, and that's going to create annoyances. Yeah, Baratia, the reason I'm not using a second browser is because I'm streaming, and I'll have to keep switching my streaming screens, which is annoying. Enhance role toggle with temporary admin suspension. Impersonation mode. Okay, we're going to go with 2. Option 2, please. But yes, normally, as Baratia has said, the normal thing would just be to use 2 browsers and they'd be logged into different accounts. So the fact I'm streaming has added a slight level of complication here. So we're just creating a test mode, basically. Okay, implement. Let's see how that goes. Okay, and then what were the other things we needed to do? Well, we need to do a lot of things, but so we've got all of this. I need to change the flow when a new user comes in. So we kind of want it to be the text content by default, because that's going to be the lowest friction lead magnet creation that a new user can do without having to add their Gmail account. And not everybody is going to have a YouTube channel. Obviously, the customers I'm looking for will have YouTube channels, but at least for the beta testing, I kind of want to open it up a bit, so that we can get a wider test in place. So what I'm going to do next is change the registration flow, make it so it's text first, text-based lead magnets first, YouTube second, and then also adjust this dashboard in here. So just switch these over and add the ability to add a YouTube account after registering. That is the plan, at least. We'll see how that goes. Anything to do with like user logins, especially with Google, can be a bit of a pain. So with Google, we use their API, so Google Cloud and OAuth it's, I mean, it's not the end. You're basically getting something called an API key, which is like a password. It's a very, very long string of letters and numbers which you use to connect to services like Google. You also use it in different API to connect to something like OpenAI if you want to access ChatGPT, and it allows your piece of software to talk back and forth with different services. And the way we set that up is we go to somewhere like this. This is platform.openai.com. This is where I get my ChatGPT API key, and you set your permissions up. You tell it where you're going to be using that key, etc., etc., and then it gives you a long string of letters and numbers, and you bring that over to your vibe coding platform and you add it, and that will allow you to talk between, or it allows your piece of software to talk to other pieces of software, which is really powerful, but can be fiddly. Role simulation implemented. So I've got, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Okay, so I'm just going to publish that. Oh, we have a security scan. We have an error. Customer email addresses could be harvested. Well, that's a big one. Let's go ahead and publish anyway to see if it works. And then we need to see what's going on there, because that is an issue. There aren't any customer emails in there at the moment, so I don't mind about streaming live with a security issue. There's nothing to steal. So I'm currently in real admin mode. Your actual admin. Oh, so beta tester only. Yeah, okay, good. That kicked me out of admin. Cool. And then I can see the dashboard as a beta tester. Jolly good. Exit testing. That takes me back to my admin account. And then from admin, I should be able to change it. Okay, no roles, premium user, regular user, beta tester, admin only, and real admin mode. Okay, so that is working. Let's try some of the other ones. Regular user, I haven't really set anything up for them, but let's see in the dashboard. Okay, that's fine. Cool. I'm happy with that. We do need to deal with this security issue. I'm going to do that off stream because dealing with those things is very, very boring. I think I know what it might be though. Okay, Lovable, that works and it seems to be good. I'm getting a security issue saying that the email addresses can now be accessed. Can you make sure that the role switcher can only be accessed by somebody who is in the admin dashboard? So not any user. That should only be a true admin can access that, because otherwise it means that anybody, an anonymous user or a beta tester, can toggle into admin and see the dashboard. So just give that a check for me, thanks. I'm guessing that's the problem it's done, but let's have a look. Nirvana says, what are we making? So it's a new challenge for myself where I have 30 days to build something in public. Going from an idea to launching within 30 days. I am limiting myself to 1 hour a day as well to show that this is possible, and we're using Lovable again to keep this as simple as possible. Is it the best tool for everything? No, but it's very, very simple and allows anybody to build, even if you're not technical. You'll probably notice that I'm talking to Lovable using a microphone as well, so I'm not even typing. So we are building using language, which is amazing. Specifically though, we are building a tool that allows me to create lead magnets. So a lead magnet is a piece of value that I give away in exchange for an email address, and I can have a link for it which sits under content. So let's say under a YouTube video, let's say the YouTube video is about how to build an application, for example. I might have a checklist which people can download underneath that video. And if the lead magnet is very highly aligned with the video content itself, there's more likelihood that someone is going to click it. What most people do, most content creators, is they'll have a generic lead magnet like join my newsletter, or sign up for my podcast. It's a bit rubbish. So instead, if you are putting out lots of videos, it's really useful to have lots of different lead magnets, one lead magnet per video. That's just a huge amount of work. So I'm making a tool that helps you generate lead magnets. Let's see if we can fix this up. Now safely allows real admin. Okay, Let's push that and see if that's actually true. And the way it works is you can plug in, I'll show you because we haven't done a test of it yet. We can plug in a YouTube video like this and it will generate ideas, but it won't work because, why is it not working? This is because we're messing around with the rollers at the moment. So let's go into the dashboard, see if it works here. Okay. What have we done? This is the fun part about doing it live. Please enter. That is a valid, so that is not the problem. Or maybe it's that. No. Okay, so it is broken. That will generate some lead magnet ideas, and then we have a button which allows you to generate the lead magnet, which uses ChatGPT. And then we have another button which allows you to create a landing page based on that lead magnet. But it is not working. Okay, the security issue is fixed, so let's make it work. First though, let's see, why is it not doing it? So I'm in real admin mode, which I'm sure is not the technical term for it. So from the dashboard, YouTube, okay. So I'm not getting any errors in console. So let me check that's definitely an actual video. Yeah, that is. Let's not use that one though, because that is 40 minutes long. Oops. Let's use, I don't know. This one's fine. Let's come back here, stick that in, generate. Oh, it's working. Okay, it was actually that video. Oh, I think it's because it's a playlist video. Okay, I just found. Yeah, I was trying to do it from a playlist link. That's why. Okay, so there we go. It generated 3 lead magnet ideas. So one is create a checklist, one is create a quiz or an assessment, and one is create a PDF guide. So we'll go ahead and create the lead magnet. This is useful to see if everything's working, because this is one of the, or probably the major problem with vibe coding, is that sometimes you'll build one part of your software and it works and it's great, and then you realize that that's created problems elsewhere in the piece of software. And this is where knowing how to code is really useful, because it's much easier to track down what's happened, or you just wouldn't have made those mistakes in the first place. So this has created a lead magnet based off that video. The video was about, what's it about? Oh, it's about the ICPC, the International Collegiate Programming Competition. So AI Programming Competition Success Checklist, blah, 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 blah. Like, we wouldn't necessarily create a lead magnet for that, but there we go. So we go to the dashboard and we can see this is the video. Ah, so we do have a problem. That is not showing the lead magnet. Okay, but once we've created a lead magnet, okay, not that one either. There we go. Once we've created a lead magnet like this one, which I've now forgotten, which one was it? We can actually generate landing pages off the back of it. But first, we need to fix what just happened there. So I just generated a lead magnet. Let's check in the admin dashboard to see if it got generated. Today was 23rd. Yep, generated checklist for AI program competition checklist. Success checklist. Okay, but it is not showing up in the dashboard itself. Oops, dashboard. So let's fix that. I'm glad you asked, because now I get to fix it. So it has a transcript. Great. Okay, great. The security issue has gone, so thank you for helping me fix that. I just tried to generate a lead magnet. The lead magnet ideas were created. That was no problem at all. And then the lead magnet itself was created. I saw the preview version of it. However, the lead magnet was not saved into the dashboard. The video itself is being saved, along with the fact that it's YouTube. The transcript is there, the date, etc. But the generated lead magnet says no generated lead magnets yet. So it is disconnected for some reason. So could we go back and check that? Thank you. Idiot, I pressed the wrong button. Okay, the security problem has been fixed. Thank you for that. However, I just found a new issue. Not sure where it occurred because I haven't tested generation for a few days. But I generated a checklist lead magnet. The generation of the lead magnet was successful. I saw the test version, the preview version. However, the lead magnet was not saved to the video itself. So in the dashboard, I can see the video. I can see it was a YouTube video, 813 words at the transcript. The transcript is saved, no problems there. However, generated lead magnet says no lead magnets generated yet. So it has not assigned the lead magnet to that particular video. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to use that. And as you'll probably all be noticing, I'm using language to work out these problems. So as long as you can speak, you can talk to these tools. I could also type, but then you'd realize I'm terrible at typing. Although somebody did tell me it's quite ASMR-y, like the little tick tap tap tapping of the keyboard. Apparently that's a nice noise, but I'm just going to talk instead. Nirvana, yes, it gets a transcript. It does. So it's grabbing the transcript from YouTube using the YouTube API. There is a limitation though. We can only grab videos from our own channel. So I'm logged into my channel so it can get my transcripts. However, if I wanted to get transcripts from other people's videos, I can't do it. But it is possible because there's this tool here called tactique.io. And this is one of my videos, as you can see, and it has grabbed a transcript. So it is doable. I just haven't managed to work out how. There's apparently something called inner tube, which is used for this, but I haven't managed to get it functioning yet. So right now, what we can do is we can use our own Google account, and that's fine as long as it's our channel, or we can create from text. So I can actually copy this whole transcript, dump it into this text box, and it can generate lead magnets. That's a bit of a workaround though. I found the issue. The lead magnet generation is working, but the generated lead magnet isn't being saved to the database. Yes, that's kind of what I said. The edge function only generates and returns the content, but never saves it. Now, that's strange. So what I want to do, because that is something that we built a long time ago, so I'm a little bit worried. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check the text generation. So I've just plugged in a whole, don't actually need the whole thing because it's going to be using my credits and we don't need to. It's still 4,000 words. Okay, so we'll cut it down to a couple of thousand words. I'm going to go ahead and generate a lead magnet using the text generator to see if that works, and see if it saves it. Damien says, I have some catching up to do. I have watched the first 4 days, but have all the other days to catch up on. How many credits total have you used? I've used about 300 credits, which is $75. I've re-upped, so I now have 800 total, which is $200 a month, but I use it for other things as well. But I imagine this whole project will cost me a couple of $100 to make, which is fine. Honestly, much cheaper than hiring and much cheaper than my time. Cool. So there are cheaper ways to do it, obviously. If you use the API directly from OpenAI or Anthropic, if you do the direct API cost, that's always going to be cheaper. Okay, so it created the lead magnet, 30-day, yep, that's fine. So I'm going to see if it saves its lead magnet. It's the main thing. Taking a while. So this isn't a fake loading screen. A lot of websites do use that, especially travel websites, notoriously, where they pretend they're loading something for a long time because it gives you the impression that what they're doing is very valuable. Whereas they have all the information already. They slow it down so that it feels more valuable. In this case, it was just taking time to go to ChatGPT and then come back from their servers. Right, so the previous one, the one that we just fixed, that is now in place. However, the text one did not save, so my suspicion was correct here. Cool, thanks Lovable. That fix worked and it is applying. However, it hasn't changed the text lead magnet generator, so having exactly the same problem with the text version. I pasted the content into the dashboard. I generated lead magnets. It gave me the ideas. I then generated the checklist. That worked perfectly. I saw the preview. Then that was not assigned to the video, so I fear the same problem is happening with the text version as well as YouTube version. Thanks. Off we go. Yes, OpenAI Codex is wonderful. Will is saying, have you tried using... Cool idea for a project. Have you played in OpenAI Codex? $20 a month is very cheap to essentially do the same here, or $200 a month for unlimited usage. So I actually have free access to Anthropic, so Claude Max and ChatGPT Pro Plus. No, Pro, the top ones. They've been gifted to me by Anthropic and ChatGPT, so I have access to all those things as well. The reason I'm not doing it in Codex, I explained a little bit earlier, but I want to show that anyone can get into this, and still using Codex, using Claude Code, and even using Cursor is a bit intimidating for people. If people who have never touched code in their life, command lines, setting up a local host, installing dependencies and stuff like that, all of that stuff's very, very intimidating for somebody who's never done it before. So I want to show that you can do this stuff with Lovable, you can do it with Bolt, Replete, Base 44, etc. to kind of get started with it and to actually build something without having to spend a long time learning how to do it. And then from there, absolutely 100%, what I've seen is people will start here and it's kind of like a gateway drug. It's an entry level, and then they'll be like, oh, I've run into the limitations, or I've run into a few blocks, so I might check out Cursor. People are saying good things about Cursor. And then from Cursor, they'll be like, oh, now everyone's talking about Claude Code and Codex, so I should probably check them out. And your kind of confidence and your ability to work with these tools increases as you spend more time. But Lovable is amazing for people who have never touched code in their life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this stream is, yes, to build something for myself, yes, to launch it and make money, cool, fine. But also to show people that they can do it as well. So that's the reason why I'm not doing Codex. But I agree, Codex is really cool. So is Claude Code. Oh, Damien, thank you. I started my first project a couple of days ago and was amazed at how fast my idea is coming to life. Yes, it's like that ChatGPT moment. When you first use ChatGPT for the first time, you're like, whoa, what is this? This is this is science fiction. This is amazing. You can have that moment with a tool like Lovable or Bolt, where you write in your idea and then suddenly it's like there. That's what I kind of want to get people to. I want them to experience that first moment of like, oh wow, holy hell. So I'm glad you've got there. It's an amazing tool if you have an idea and minimal coding experience. Yep. I'm using it in a loop with Claude. Awesome, to help me learn and get the best from my Lovable prompts too. Yes. So it is very easy to be lazy and to give everything to these tools, but I see it as a really good entry point for actually learning to code. Because as you start to run into problems, or as you start to want to do more complex things, you can naturally start to learn. You can talk to Claude and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do over in Lovable, and it's not working. Like, what should I be looking at? Or how should I be structuring this? And can you teach me about such and such and such? Claude Code actually has a a mode in Claude Code. It's not in Lovable, but it is in Claude Code called teaching mode, where it will generate code for you, it'll work things out, but it will also ask you questions, and it will put lots of comments in the code to help you understand what's going on and stuff like that. It's really, really cool, and hopefully they'll add something like that to Lovable. It just increases the credit cost, so I can see why they haven't. But learning whilst building, learning whilst making a project is so much easier than reading a textbook about Python, and you're reading about variables and functions and dictionaries and stuff like that, and you're like, why do I need to know this stuff? When you're actually building something, suddenly all of the stuff that you learn connects to a reality. So that's really awesome that you have started. Will says, that makes perfect sense. It takes a while to get used to Terminal and VS Code. Yeah, it really does. I tried Replete, Manus, but not Lovable. They're very powerful, these tools, in their own right for everyone. Yeah. So Lovable is built on Claude, which is a great model. And it just allows you to get into it really quickly. Whereas you open up VS Code or Cursor, which is basically VS Code, and it's intimidating the first time you see it. But I think by going through these kind of entry-level tools like Lovable, people can get there, and it doesn't take that long either. So I actually wrote a newsletter issue last Saturday about this learning path, and starting with Lovable or Bolt, and then moving up to Cursor to play around with it. So the gateway drug is Lovable, then it's getting under the hood with Cursor, and then moving on to like the big boy like Claude Code or Codex, etc., etc. But as I mentioned earlier, this is the first step for using Claude Code. The official guide is step 1, install Claude Code. npm install. If you have Node.js 18 or newer installer, npm install, like etc., etc., etc. If you've never touched the command line or terminal, you're looking at this like, what? where do I type this? And then if you do find terminal and you see this, you're like, oh my god. It's not a good starting point. Cool. So where were we? Sorry, I got distracted. Let's check if that, not distracted. I love these questions. Because it is a really exciting time for people to start building. Because I've known so many entrepreneurs over the years, or people who wanted to get into entrepreneurship and build a business, who couldn't, because it required them to find a technical partner, or to raise money to hire developers, or to learn to code themselves. They were basically the 3 options. And now you can put together something basic and your idea becomes real, and you can show your idea to technical founders, you can show your idea to funders, or you can get it to a place where you're starting to take it to market, which is super, super exciting. Will says, what a time to be alive. Yeah, my son or mum would be dead in the water with npm and pip. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. And the rest of the tool set for modern devs. I think a problem lots of devs have is that they forget that this stuff is not easy. Because obviously you show that instruction to somebody who knows how to code, and they're like, yeah, cool, blah, 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 installed. Wow, that was simple. You show that to somebody who's never used a command line, it's like, what? Where do I type it? Do I type it in Google? Okay, that hasn't. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Now, what's happening here? So it seems to be very weird. It seems to. Was there a delay? Surely not. That makes no sense. It seems to be saving those lead magnets, but only after I continue on. So the previous lead magnets have been saved and assigned to their source. Cool. But then I generate a new one, and it is not automatically being assigned. Let me run that. How much time? I've only got a few minutes. Let me run that through. Hey, Lovable. So that worked for the lead magnet that the text lead magnet that I specified in our last instruction. However, I just reused the generator for a new text-based lead magnet, and that has not been assigned. So for clarity, we've done two fixes, one for the video generation and one for the text-based generation. Those two both have the lead magnets assigned. They're both viewable. I can generate the landing pages, so they are working. But then I did a new text-based lead magnet, and it has not assigned that to the source. So we need to make sure that the assignment is happening moving forward as well, and that you aren't just retroactively fixing based on what I'm telling you. Can you, okay, check the last lead magnet that's just been created, work out why that hasn't been assigned, and then I'm going to test you again. I'm going to give you another lead magnet, and we need to make sure that that's assigned automatically without me having to come back to you for fixes. Weird. Will says, the learning potential for AI is intense. I love that PewDiePie got Linux and made videos about it. Really? Is that recent? I haven't seen them. I'm going to have to look them up. Is he doing Linux tutorials? Oh yeah, I installed Linux, and so should you. Sorry, that picture of all of the distributions there. I mean, yeah, it's cool. I think there's a really interesting thing that's happened. So I'm a little bit older, and I grew up with like DOS and early versions of Windows, and so I'm able to like at least tinker around with computers. I'm not a coder by any means. I studied history. I know a bit of Python, but there were generations kind of after my generation who didn't have to mess around with computers. Like, I've built my own PCs. I fiddled around in, you know, slightly deeper levels of it. For the last couple of decades, people have had iPads and devices that have very little potential for messing around with, unless you jailbreak them, but that's a small subset. So it's interesting to see people now coming back to things like Linux and messing around with that, because you actually have to go out of your way to do that now, because the computers that we use on a day-to-day, they work. You don't have to. I remember playing Red Alert with my friends when I was a kid, and we had to work out like TCP/IP and subnet masks and stuff like that. I mean, I can't remember the details, but to get these things to work just so we could play a game, and then we got cut off as soon as anyone wanted to use a telephone in the house. But because that hasn't been such a prevalent problem for people for the last few decades, I think that the level of technical technical comfort has also decreased. Okay, it's saying it's found the issue, as always, and I haven't said it yet this episode, but we don't trust it. When it says I found the issue, that's not enough, because our AIs love to tell us what a good job they've done. We have to go and test. I've just had to install a Linux distribution on an old MacBook, so I'm streaming live to TikTok at the moment, but I'm having to do it through my phone, so it's currently on an arm in front of me pointed at the screen, and it's suboptimal. But you cannot stream from a computer to TikTok unless you use TikTok Studio, and you cannot install TikTok Studio unless you do it on a PC, a Windows PC. So I had to, and you cannot burn a Windows PC image directly to a USB stick to boot as a boot disk from a Mac. You have to do it from a Linux. So I installed a Linux distribution on my laptop, then installed or created a boot disk for Windows, and oh my god, it was a lot of hassle. I can see why people don't want to mess with that kind of stuff. I could just buy a PC. Right, that has not worked. I found the issue. The edge function correctly extracts video transcripts from the request, but there's no validation to ensure it's provided. When it's missing or undefined, the database insert succeeds, but with a null value. Let me add validation. Okay, so we'll do it one more time. We're at the end of the stream, and this is a promise to myself not to continue to work. For anyone who's played around with these tools, it's quite intoxicating, and you'll probably want to, oh, I've run out of credits. You'll probably want to keep going, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to keep it to an hour a day to show that this is possible. I need to give myself some extra credits. Gift. Okay, and then we need to go back. It's also because I was trying to generate from a 9,000 word transcript, which was a bit stupid. It's more than enough. There we go. He got Arch. That's my thing. It's Arch a Linux distribution. Arch Linux, a simple, lightweight. Okay, there are so many of them. Having to do mods for games is what got me first learning. That's awesome. Yeah, your analysis of the things just working well distances the consumer from the work. Yeah, it's easier. So there's no need to kind of get into the guts of a thing. I'm about to build my first PC for the in 10 years or so, which I'm excited about. But even that, it is just so much easier to buy a pre-made one, which I'm sure most people do, but I want to build it myself. It's the next thing, but I've just bought this, so I should wait a little bit before spending even more money. And I've been looking at the NVIDIA graphics cards as well, and good God, they're expensive. I think 590 is $2,000. Okay, let's see if that's working. Oh, I am on the dashboard. Okay. Rock and roll. Oh, nope. Uh-huh. Oh, no. That has worked. That was weird. Why didn't that immediately... Oh! It's this refresh button. No, it's not. It's made two of them, so it's made a null one, but it's also created the right one, so that is working. Okay, so we're back to there. Let's generate a landing page because we haven't done this for a while. Let's make sure that is working. Okay, preview, boom, there we go. And test that. So Kyle, test landing page at gmail.com. Cool. So that is all still working. Awesome. So we have added into the back end, we've split up the beta users and the other admins. We had to fix the generator which wasn't working, so that wasted 20 minutes of our time. We're at an hour at the moment, and then the next thing I need to do, which I'll do tomorrow, is make this kind of text first, text forward, and YouTube second, just because we need to prepare the way for the beta users coming in. We need to make it as clear as possible. Obviously they will tell me what's not clear. That's kind of why we're doing beta testers, because I've been using it, I know where to go, but I cannot assume that other people know where to go, so I need to make it as simple as possible for them, and also make sure that everything's working, which it was not doing, but now it is. Awesome. I installed various hard to use Linux distros like Void and Arch without GUI to learn for using AI and CUDA local and stuff. That's cool. Are you going to build with a premium graphics card? Yeah, probably a 580. A 590 is a bit rich. I think they're quite hard to get as well. So probably a 580. A 590 at the moment is 2,600. And a 580 is... Do I mean a 580? Is a grand. Yeah, the 590, I can't really justify it. I mean, I could, it's a business expense, but it's still a lot of money. And realistically, I'm not training models. I'm playing around with local LLMs, but I'm not going to be doing a full training, and not that I'd be able to do it on one 590 anyway. Awesome. Right, I'm going to finish up for the day. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the news live. So going through the daily AI news and updates. I think Sam Altman just dropped a new blog article, so I'm sure I'll be covering that. I'm not sure if he's talking about his new premium model, but they're talking about going to the upper end, potentially as a pushback to Grok, now having the cheapest model on the market. Really, really cheap. But I'll be having a look at that tomorrow morning. And then the live streams with building in public, I'll be doing later in the day. I think at about 4 p.m. Is going to be the new time, so that I have a bit of time during the day to go boxing. Sorry, TikTok, I didn't answer any of the questions. Eric is saying I run a Windows emulator on my Mac so I can do TikTok live. Yeah, that is also what I can do. I can do Parallels. Is it Parallels or Bootcamp? I haven't done it for a while, so that I can do that as well. And I've got a a Mac Mini M4 Pro, so I'm sure it's got the oomph to do it. That would probably be a lot easier than installing Linux and then flashing Windows ISOs extra. Like it's a lot of hassle. Awesome, thank you guys, and everything from the various different lives will be appearing in the newsletter, so make sure you are signed up for that. Totally free. And every Saturday I do longer form guides like the one you see on screen, which is talking about well, this is very long form, it's about 3,000 words, talking about how to get into vibe coding, this particular guide. The next one is going to be about, I've forgotten, but I've shot a video on it already, but I've totally forgotten because that was last week and I have no memory. Awesome. Thank you guys. Have a lovely evening and I will see you tomorrow. Cheers.